And we're very lucky to have Holger come and join us today. And he's actually going to be giving a live demonstration of what he's been preparing. So without any further ado, I will hand straight over to Holger Kessler.
Thank you very much, and thanks for Stuart to persisting to get me here to talk. A hard act to follow. It's like following a TED talk. I'll be talking to you later. Fascinating talk. The only thing I can improve on is I'm going to try and use the up and down arrow correctly more than once. So fascinating talk. I'm going to take it, unfortunately, right back to the other end of the scale. What I'll be talking about today cannot even be described as a twin, shadow, or model. Maybe it is just actually a digital map. Why do we need an underground asset register, and how will it hopefully, or most likely, down button works, help industry? So I'm Holger Kessler. I work for the Geospatial Commission, which is recently moved from Cabinet Office to the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, DCIT. We are a group of economists. We have some geospatial experts. We are about 55 people strong. And we set the UK's government's strategy on geospatial or geographic data. We are based in Whitehall. We are in Horse Guards Road, have an office in Manchester and in Bristol. Our objectives are wide. We work with our partner bodies, Ordnance Survey, Geological Survey, Coal Authority, to just simply make more map data more easily accessible. We have some pilot projects in the space of EV charge points. We try and help local authorities getting better access to aerial photography. So very simple stuff. But we also looked deep into the space of sharing data in the subsurface. So 5 years ago, when I started my secondment to the Cabinet Office, as it was then, we identified that sharing of buried infrastructure data is at best haphazard and hardly digital and very, very cumbersome. The reasons for that, why we then why government decided to intervene, are mostly on the screen. So there's a lot of pipes and cables. There are lots of accidents. There's a lot of low productivity in the sector, as we've just heard. And we decided to start off with some pilot projects. There were already initiatives in London and in the northeast of England. There are, of course, also already existing systems in Scotland. And we started to scope, pilot, and now we're in the build phase of what is now known as the National Underground Asset Register. As I said, it's not anywhere. I mean, sometimes friends of ours, Mark Enzer, for example, who we've been working closely with, we have been working with the National Digital Twin Program all the way through. Sometimes we might refer to ourselves as the beginning of a digital twin or shadow, but really it is just simply an interactive map of all the pipes and cables of the United Kingdom. And we also think we're in an exciting space. And the analogy I was going to actually draw to your talk, it's a bit like we wouldn't be eating if we don't know what's in it. Well, we seem to be running a country and cities with not knowing anything really what's going on beneath our feet, which I find just staggering. So we hope we will also be part of this revolution in the coming few years. Whether AI will eat it all up is another interesting topic I'd love to take further, because there's obviously, as you heard yesterday, a lot of security and critical infrastructure issues associated. So I will give a little live demo in a moment, and I'll be also we've got a Q&A session after the whole. Yeah, cool. So I'll use my time. So a bit like throughout the whole 2 days, we have spent a lot of time on standardizing data. So it's very unbelievable how many versions of a valve or a pipe or pressure there can be across the country. We have now 180 of the 650 asset owners, by which we mean, by the way, gas, electricity, water, telco, district heating, all smart motorway cables, any apparatus really that's buried under the streets and under our land. So we have a harmonized data model, an OGC standard, that we are following, and we have 180 companies now sharing data in the same platform, in the same way, according to the same data model. We have worked extensively with the national, we had this yesterday, National Authority for Protection of Our Assets, so CPNI successor, and the NCSC, and various commercial and various security actors and personnel in the various asset owner companies, but telcos in particular, to make the service secure. And this, as you'll see in my demo, involves the way we log in, the way we give access to who, for what purpose. We are really, it's all about quicker and instant data exchange, both the uploading of data soon and hopefully in the future via APIs, as opposed to via documents. And of course, the service is live and will be in the hands of every worker who carries out work on behalf of the utilities who are part of the platform. And of course, at the moment in the build phase, we are offering a lot of support and help with getting the data into a standardized format and uploading. So at the moment, in the first initial 3 years, we are offering a lot of additional support. Did I just do that as well? No. No, I thought I'd gone up as well. So we always give credit to the initiatives that went on before. We're not completely reinventing the wheel. We have built on a lot of research coming out of EPSRC, Vista, which has now led to the system in Transport Scotland and the Scottish Roadworks Commissioner. Massive help from our colleagues across in Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands who have running systems, operational systems already. And we obviously followed best practice in terms of running good projects and programs, and we did an extensive pilot phase. So we have a lot of learnings to build on. And the benefits accrue in various places, from efficiencies to reduced risks and safety. We are also hoping that over time data will improve. So we have in terms of accuracy, the data we are publishing is as good as it is on the plans, and we've already talked about as built and as designed. It is as good as it is, but we are very hopeful that first of all, through data modeling and checking and putting into one platform, you will hopefully already improve and see some inconsistencies in your own data, but we're also building in a feedback loop from the field, which will one day maybe go as far as the point cloud and getting the survey faculty into the platform as well. So we actually provide feedback from the fields about wrong positions of apparatus. We have good handle on the efficiencies that will be saved in both the back office and in the front line. And of course, in the end of the day, the further benefits, and you can read out the economic case. We've been very transparent. We've published the economic case that we made to Treasury for the whole program is on gov.uk. The cost-benefit ratios are very impressive because there are a lot of knock-on benefits of fewer delays to street works and not having to dig several holes to find the asset. All of that can be read in time. So that's the sort of breakdown of where the efficiencies, the £350 million per annum economic benefit comes from. This is in the run phase, so we're now, the timeline's coming next, we're now sort of 2/3 of the way through. And of course, we are assuming, of course, in all of this, and we have currently no legislation, so it is an entirely voluntary program. In other words, we are hoping that nearly 100% of people who own assets will be part of the platform, because really the full benefit can only be realized if you don't have to start searching for a few bits and pieces online or go and contact asset owners directly. So we are positive and hopeful that we will achieve as near comprehensive coverage as possible. We are now somewhere Here we've got operational. Hopefully most of you would have heard about this. We had a bit of Radio 4 and a bit of almost on the 10 o'clock news, and then some events in the US came in the way. But we had a good coverage. We have an operational platform right now in London, Northeast England, and in Wales. And that means we are now, so we're working in an agile way. We're having 3-week sprints, which means that we are now getting the first real-world feedback, which will include all the usual stuff. Does it actually fit on every screen, on every device? What's the response time? It's raining. Is the light good enough? Middle of the night, emergency responses. And also we were now at the stage of gathering real-world user feedback. So these are some of the features that are very, very important to us. So the secure login I mentioned already. I will give a little live demo of this. We are definitely hopeful that in future we will be interoperable with others. So at the moment, NUAR will be a single, secure platform only accessible via a lockdown portal to people who need it, which are the utilities and the operators and their maintenance and their contractors. But we have built in future, and that is for the security, commercial, and legal reasons. But we have built in interoperability, so unique street and property reference numbers, for example, could be used to, for example, link out to other systems. One obvious one might be the street management and street permitting system, or it might be your local authority, and you might want to do some searches based on particular bits of road, and so interoperability is built in. Yeah, and I'm going to show that part in the live demo. And that's the platform, but as I said, I'll hopefully have a few minutes at the end to show you all of that. I'm now going to try and retrieve my water from somewhere down here. I've got it. So we've put out a public consultation, and the reason that slide is there is just to highlight a few. Obviously, no consensus was found among 164 people who should pay for this in the long run. So at the moment, Treasury has put in £23 million for the build phase. As I said, that's over the 3 years. But then at some point, nothing like this comes at no cost. So we are looking into a operational model for September 24 and onwards. There has generally been acknowledgement that some legislation might be useful. And again, we have precedent in Scotland where the Scotland Transport Bill does mandate the use and the consideration of volts, which is the equivalent for the north. And we have got some, we have in our response to the public consultation, which you can read online as well, we are aware that there are opportunities, as I said, beyond our core use case, which is the efficiency, the site data transfer efficiency, back office efficiency, and the safe dig use case. There are obviously a plethora of opportunities with digital information about our buried infrastructure, which go from improved flood risk modeling in urban areas, because we don't know where any of the ducts are currently, extreme rainfall events and all that. There's a big driver there. On the other side, we have people in DESNES, Department of Energy Security, Net Zero, with district heating rollout plans. We have EV charge point plans. We have lots of telco infrastructure going in the ground, and all of those, and particularly your industry, because hopefully I've made this clear, at the moment we are not looking at the private sector use cases. So this is for statutory undertakers and local authorities at the moment, but there will be use cases for the wider private sector. So we are aware that in time there might be other ways in and out of the NUAR platform. So in terms of participation, amazing, I actually got the number right. So these slides are obviously updated weekly. So there you can see the numbers. This is the crazy figure, which is why this project is so complex. So we do have 234 324 local authorities, all with bits and pieces of gully drainage electricity cables. We have the gas, electricity, water, the telcos, and then various other small upstarting district heating projects. So a lot of people to talk to, and this really, these two very boring sounding bullet points that's really the heart of it. I mean, the heart of NUAR, the learnings are collaboration, trust, all the usual change management vocabulary, but really what's underpinning it all are solid legal agreements with each individual asset owner and between them and the Cabinet Office or in DCIT in the future, which give us permission to share their data with everybody else for the purpose of the stipulated use case. And of course, the other pillar is that we now have 180 thereabouts data sets transformed into a common data model, published out, checked and validated by the GIS data and whoever needs to be, all the officers in the organizations, and agreed to be correct. We're working with a lot of, I was hoping amazing. I've just pulled this off our drive, and the team has actually updated. So I now can read out the National Protective Security Authority and the NCSC have been core to this all. Without them, there would be a no-go with this. Lots of the big central government departments for the various other use cases, transport, district heating, 5G rollout, lots of advice internally from the IPA. They're a big client and big advisor, of course. We're working with the OGC in terms of the data model. HSE is obviously essential to all of this, so hopefully, potentially one day, NUAR might find itself into HSG 47. There's another important caveat. NUAR does not replace the safe digging workflow and the safe working procedure. It just simply replaces the process of obtaining the plans and getting them to site. This here is our supply chain. So Atkins have been awarded the contract for the build phase, working with the OS One Spatial. Our important partner up in the north is Transport Scotland. And then we have support from Welsh Government, the Greater London Authority have been extremely helpful here, and GeoPlace, which is an organisation close to the Ordnance Survey, working with all the local authorities. Great, perfect timing. So some nice quotes from Hawke, from some of the people in the private sector, people who've been, Joe Parker, who's been in this business for almost her entire life. So obviously everybody loves a bit of NUAR. And get in touch with, on the usual stuff. But if you search for NUAR on gov.uk, you'll see the bits and pieces that I've mentioned. It's a gov.uk site. There's no need for you to search for this. You will not really get to it unless you are operating or working for one of our asset owners. Small little bits of development that are extremely important is we have a single button which translates the entire platform into Welsh or any other language. I'm just doing this because the dev team, there's all the shiny map stuff, but there's absolutely enormous amount of other work in the background, security and language interoperability. So I just thought I'll do that for the team. So we have an Ordnance Survey base map, master map as part of the product. We can search on road postcodes and the street gazetteer and everything like that. I'm going to go to a approved site in the Midlands which has demo data in it, but as I said, if you do work for Thames Water, Cadent, Northumbria Water Group, Welsh Water, or any of those, you will in time have access yourself. At the moment, we're going still to for public presentations to a site in the Midlands with some made-up data. So you can draw a circle or a polygon, and the data will be retrieved. You would have seen when I drew the polygon, you have a size limit. So we give 100 by 100 meters in the field and 200 by 200 meter for back office role. So the entire platform in the back office, which is fully auditable and is controlled by a role, persona, and access. So if you work for Balfour Beatty, for Yorkshire Water, for a 4-week project on this particular road, we can be as granular as giving you, with that email, for that contract access for that period for just this bit of the road. So this is all part of the really boring but massively important back office side to make sure it's a trusted and secure platform. Yeah, and then it's just, as I said at the beginning, in the end of the day, it's just a map. It's just a GIS where you can get the information about the asset. We can go to the isolated views. You can see some real data is appearing there. So I will just go and show you the isolated views for the made-up pieces of data. So you can say, I just want to see assets from one particular asset owner. And you have obviously a legend here. You can see here some features. This area is a redacted zone, so if an asset owner has sensitive assets, doesn't want to disclose it, that could include assets which are completely undisclosed, so the asset owner just knows you intended to do something there, and they might get an alert and then start picking up the phone to you. And yeah, the only thing I can't show yet is what's coming in the next sprint. Oh yes, we can share, so you can share this view. You just create a URL, you can send it to your field team on the WhatsApp, and if they're authorized, have the same have the log on, you can go to the map. And the next big sprint now is to give observation feedback. So if you've done your excavation and you see a yellow pipe on the other side of the road, you can take a photo and upload it to the platform, tagging the asset owner you think is affected. Thanks for having me, for listening, and yeah, that's NUAR.